was for something about the journey in England. I'm going to specifically talk about the meaning and origins of the English journeys that help to shape the idea of English identity. So first we have the historical context. The genre of English journeys started to become very popular between the two world wars. During this time period, the British writers decided to travel across their own country rather than going abroad. Their purpose was not tourism, but it was a way to rediscover England. They wanted to see to what extent the troubles gotten English society and England as a whole after the World War I in a time of rapid change. Purpose of the journey. The main goal of these journeys was to find England, to meet new people, to talk to English people, to discover places and traditions that were unfortunately disappearing due to the modern life and the industrialization. Writers believed that by traveling across their own country, they could rediscover their spirit as English. So travel became more than just a movement. It became a way to build identity nationally. Then we have the main characteristics. There were more, but I'm just going to highlight three. First, they were usually on-lent, which means that they would rather more to just go with the flow and let the road guide them than actually let something else. Later we have they value chance encounters, and intuition. This means they value the random encounters and talking with strangers more than fixing destinations with people. Third, we have the journeys often express an emotional and spiritual connection with nature, especially the English countryside, which was described by the British writers themselves as the Englishness itself. Then we have the world travels and English identity. So after exploring origins, we can see that the journeys really idealize the world side of England. First, we have the contrast that was created by the writers between the rural and the industrial side of England. Writers love to describe beautiful landscapes and farms and peaceful villages, but they usually tend to forget about the industrial north, where factories and workers were changing their country's image. For them, the countryside was described as the real, or was represented the real England, something pure, traditional, and authentic. About technology and modernity, we have that there was a strong tension between modernity and traditional tools, because many of these writers would use modern tools such as cars and trains to get to their destinations to make their travels, but they would often criticize the modern life and would like to actually escape from it. So their journeys were described by this contradiction. They would use modern tools to look for a pre-modern world. And last but not least, we have the journeys as symbols of authenticity. So finally, these journeys were both literal and metaphorical. So literally, they were traveling across the country, but metaphorically, they were something more than just travels. They were an attempt to rediscover England. So finding England was more seen from a belonging and identity point of view rather than a geographical point of view. Thank you for listening. I'm going to continue in the next part.
Hello, I'm going to talk about critical and political journeys. They're going to tell me the heart of England and the way his trouble expressed the possibility of truly defining of England. C.E. Montague, the right place, 1924, explored post-war the solution and focused on the industrial north. A.J. Massingham through the wilderness in 1935 promoted the idea of land function and moral duty to protect the countryside, criticized organization and the laws of rural identity. Jack Hilton, in his way, 1940, represent a working class journey, political and realistic, contrast with the idealized struggle of urban writers. Journey and wartime and nothing. The film Century Tape in 1944, directed by Michael Paul and Emery Pressburger. Wartime reimagining of the traditional English journey, mixing nationalism, gender issues, and modern tensions. The end of the classic trouble general after the Second World War, mass touring replaced the personal, spontaneous journey of earlier times. Later, writers like Paul Stevens and Bill Gibson revisited the genre ironically. Modern interpretation, artistic and photographic journey by Richard Long and Don McCool represent England as a fragment, industrial and postmodern. And this part, in conclusion, this part show how the journey writing it turned into a search for identify through the journeys. This writer tried to understand England that England transformed by the war, industry, and the modernity.